Hey everybody, welcome to DadsDen of Pop Culture and Justice League Monday. We got a couple really good issues today. Now we're primarily going to be looking at Justice League America number 27, but we're also going to take a quick look at Justice League Europe number 2. All right, so let's scoot JLE number 2 out of the way. Let's put Justice League America right in the center. And of course, you'll notice the reference we're getting here on the image. So we have a tribute cover here to the Exorcist. Who might that be? We're going to find out in just a minute. But of course, if you're a big fan of DC Comics in this period, and really even afterwards, you're going to know who that is. We open up at Belle Reve Prison. Our story is called Mind Snap. Keith Giffen, plot and breakdowns, J.M. DeMatteis script, Ty Templeton pencils, Rubenstein, Giordano inks, Bob Lappin letters, Gene D'Angelo colors, Kevin Dooley, assistant editor, Andy Helfer, in need of deprogramming. This is, of course, from 1989. So if you remember, the last time we joined the JLI, now the JLA, Blue Beetle had gone sort of insane. He got a phone call. He flipped his lid, tried to kill Max, was very hard to take down. And we're dealing with the repercussions of that here. So somebody's here to see Amanda Waller. Of course, yes, that's who's on the front cover. That somebody is Oberon. Now, we get a little bit of dialogue that could probably freak some people out nowadays. This guy refers to Oberon as a midget. Oberon does not like that. He comes right back at him, calls him a yutz. But at any rate, he gives this folder to Amanda Waller. They need her help in dealing with this problem. Meanwhile, back at the embassy, in a room with just a bed in it, Batman is speaking with Blue Beetle, trying to get him to remember what happened, and he can't. He has this mental block. And he's wondering, where did you even find an empty room? And notice, by the way, the art. Now, one of the reasons this issue is so good is that you do get the comedy that you're used to here, but you get a very dramatic storyline, very well told. The comedy does not undercut what's happening. It does help to sort of, keep the balance right. So, where they happen to have Blue Beetle stashed is Max Lord's room. They've moved all of his furniture out just in case, and he's asking the Martian Manhunter, well, you're a telepath. Can't you just do something? Read his mind or get through there, blah, blah, blah. He says, yes, I could, but in the process, I might ravage his mind. And as we know, Blue Beetle doesn't have that much mind to lose. That is, of course, the joke. Ted Kord, really a very good character. Now, we also have a nice scene here between Booster Gold and Ice because Green Flame also had an issue. She might also have been impacted because the belief, even at this point, is that Bialya and the Queen Bee are who's behind this. And of course, she, along with Booster, along with Blue Beetle, were there. And Green Flame attacked Oberon with her fire. Okay, so they know something's going on with her as well. Now, Booster Gold could also be impacted. They don't seem too worried about him at the moment. Well, Amanda arrives, and we get again another line that nowadays people would freak out about. But it was kind of like Oberon getting back at Amanda because of the thing he was called when he was at Belle Reve. But basically, she's here to try to deprogram him. Now, Batman really doesn't trust her. I'll be watching you, Waller, very closely. And he kind of wants to handle this himself, but maybe he's not quite as good at deprogramming as she is. Although we're going to see that she has some problems too. So we see Blue Beetle. He's really trying to get to the bottom of all this. He just can't bring it up in his mind. There is this block. It's sort of like he's afraid. We see that. That's really nice. Ty Templeton did a fantastic job in this one. So Amanda arrives. You just take it easy, Beetle. and let Amanda do all the beating up around here. Meanwhile, and they really do flip around, but it works. It works. It helps spread that storyline out a little bit, and I think gives it a little more tension. But we have Guy Gardner, who's kind of PO'd that he's been ushered out of the embassy. You can imagine why. And there's nothing really going on. He's annoyed, etc. And what does he do? He sees a guy throwing litter on the ground, and so he picks up the trash thing and shoves it on his head. Gee, I feel better already. Classic Guy Gardner doing, good deeds in the worst way he possibly can. So here we have Amanda and Blue Beetle trying to get down to it. And they believe, like she's saying we think it was Bealia that did it. The Queen Bee's the one behind this. How can you be sure? Who else would use the code phrase, Bealia, my Bealia? Well, was that a good idea to say the code phrase right in front of him? No, it was not. Open the door. Open it, witch, now. And he jumps on her, and he's got a pretty, he's, kind of kicking her butt, although you do see she's fighting back. He gets away from her. She moves in and kicks him in the leg where he got stabbed, and then decks him, and that takes him out. Well, Amanda, that was really dumb. Code phrase set him off like a freaking time bomb. Damn, that was dumb. It's Waller, let me out. Say what? Let me the hell out. And, the voice actress who did her in the Batman, Superman, Justice League cartoons from back in the day, really great voice actress, and I could really hear her delivering a lot of these lines. Now, here's a moment between Mr. Miracle and Big Barda that's foreshadowing future events. He has this feeling that there's something wrong, and he doesn't know why he was also kind of left out of things, why John sent him home, but he thinks there's something even maybe bigger going on. And he's probably right, as we're going to see in a couple issues or so. So Amanda's yelling at Max, why didn't you tell me? And John Jones is like, you're not angry at Max. I can tell that you're angry at yourself. Oh, what are you, a mind reader? Yes. Damn, that's right. So she is mad at herself. She should have known better. She screwed up, and there's no room for screwing up here. They got to do this right. So she's going to take things nice and slow. When she gets back in there, now, of course, Beetle awakens, doesn't know what's going on, knows that his wound is opened again, and he's really frustrated. He can't get at it, And Amanda opens the door. We'll get at it, Beetle. And then we'll get at the maggots that did this to you. And we have a nice scene here between Oberon and Beatrice. Knock, knock. Oberon, come in, cutie. I love it when you call me cutie. Well, you are a cutie. Am I still confined to quarters? And of course she is. Nice little conversation, though. And you're like, is there something brewing there? Maybe. So here's Beetle. Now he's being put into, a hypnotic trance. And she's going to try to take him back. Just wanted to focus in as you see his eyes getting heavier. Really well done. Good stuff there. She's going to try to take him back to figure out how this was done. Who, just show me what happened. If she knows how it was done, she may figure out how to undo it. Well, he starts going back. We see Booster in his disguise. We see Beetle finding the honeymooners on Bealian TV. By the way, it's a really nice piece of work there on Jackie Gleason. Actually kind of reminds me of what he might look like in some of the old Mad magazines. It's not quite a caricature, but, it's a little caricature to it. And then all of a sudden, here he is, seeing the Queen Bee, seeing Jack-o'-lantern, and seeing these other people hooked up to these machines. And she's like, okay, it's not going to hurt you. Just tell me what you see. And she's saying, Beetle, Beetle. And then he starts blacking out. Damn, they programmed a failsafe into him, an Azrael block. And we see that he's starting to frankly, he's starting to die. Maybe. Well, maybe not quite die, but she's trying to get him back. Please. You see he's bleeding at the nose. And Batman pushes her out of the way. I'm taking over here. He's in a coma. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. So Amanda Waller, maybe not as good at this as she thought she was going to be. Amanda, you couldn't have known. I should have known. He was so scared. His subconscious mind knew something was in there, something that shouldn't have been touched. But I had to go blasting away. Those damn Bealians. Max, you'd better get that Booster Gold guy under surveillance and fast. Well, don't you have anything to add? You did your best, Mrs. Waller. Can't believe it. But you came up against something that was too big for you, too big for any of us, except possibly one man. Well, who is that one man the Batman is speaking of? Well, here's this rather nice-looking building, and he's waiting in a study. And then, if you're looking for the doctor, I'm afraid they're out for the evening. But maybe I can lend a helping hand. Sure, I'm old, withered, and technically dead, but I'm a lot of fun at parties. Naboo. Once upon a time, these days folks just call me Kent. Kent Nelson. Well then, Kent Nelson, how would you like to take a little trip? Oh, right. Okay. Now, we're not going to get the continuation of this story in the next issue. In that one, we're going to see Guy Gardner and Ice Maiden out on the town. So it's going to take a couple issues before they get back into this storyline. But I think this is one of their better books. The subject matter is handled really well. The art is beautiful. Great cover. Really kind of firing on all cylinders here. And it does show you that even though Justice League America was a comedy, it wasn't all yuck, yuck, yuck all the time. They could do more serious storylines. And when they did, they put a lot of emotional heft into them. Well, let's take a really quick look at Justice League Europe #2. Now, you'll remember from last video, the embassy, just as they had opened, is attacked by all these Parisians who are convinced that the JLE are Nazis. All right. They're not, by the way. And we see, opens up with Captain Atom, kind of musing on what has happened. By the way, Keith Giffen plot, J.M. DeMatteis script, Robert Lappin letters, Bart Sears pencils, Gene D'Angelo colors, Pablo Marcos, inks, Kevin Dooley, assistant editor, Andy Helfer, in need of therapy. Wow. But Bart Sears, by the way, amazing job in this one. So he's kind of going over what's happened, gets back to the embassy, and things are actually going well. The computers are online, and he finds Sue Dibney going through them. And, well, it turns out she's real good at this stuff, and she's willing to be basically on permanent monitor duty. And Ralph is happy because it means she's not going to be out shopping in Paris. Okay, so she's doing some searches for neo-Nazi organizations in Europe, and they do find some information. 3 known matches found: Dover, England; Frankfurt, Germany; Santa Cruz, California. End of search. So what you get now is kind of classic Justice League of America. They split up into teams. So we get Captain Atom and Animal Man in California, and while they're looking at this old complex, it seems to have been destroyed, they're confronted by the Wild Huntsman, and we get a rip-roaring fight. And I got to say, I don't know if the Global Guardians, by the way, he was a Global Guardian, I don't know if they've ever looked better than in this particular issue. So he attacks. It's not going well for the good guys because, of course, they're like, what is going on here? By the way, let's get a close-up on. Dang, look at that. Okay. Really, really good stuff. Bart Sears doing the Mighty Thor. That might have been interesting. Well, actually, he might have done it too. Well, finally, Captain Atom has enough, blasts him, and they find that he and the horse and the dogs are all in a coma, which he doesn't think should have happened with what he did. Next, we have Rocket Red and Power Girl, and they find this headquarters of this group in Frankfurt, Germany, on fire. There's a nice little conversation about, sad people, maybe were burned alive. Power Girl's not, really that sad. And he's like, hey, no, I'm not, soft on these guys, but I hate to see human life wasted. Well, as they fly away, they're attacked by another Global Guardian, Rising Sun. Really amazing work here. He has these light and fire type powers. And he's really, again, giving them a real run for their money. Power Girl has decided she's had enough. I mean, Bart Sears was able to do beauty and strength really, really, really well with her. Well, she flies in, whacks the guy. He goes down. And again, she's saying, I pulled my punch. That should not have happened. All right. So something's happening with these people. And they, by the way, they keep calling the Justice Leaguers Nazis. So it seems as though they've been programmed. Gee, who's doing all this programming again? Oh, yeah. There's a lot of ties between the two Justice League books, which is why I'm going over this. They did a good job. Well, you got the same writers, of course, so they could. Any rate, Metamorpho, Elongated Man, Flash, all in their civilian identities. Well, Metamorphos, of course, never said. They're attacked by Tuatara, and it pretty much goes the same way. He's doing very well. There's a funny bit with Metamorpho, who's kind of been reborn, not remembering if he knows how to swim or not, but he does realize he can turn into a sort of bargain basement Moby Dick. By the way, a really disturbing image there. Well done, Bart Sears. And, but Elongated Man ends up wrapping him up, and he goes into a coma as well. Okay, so they're on this whole kick with who's going after them. And we see on the last page, Jack-o'-lantern and Owl Woman are back in the dome. Now, that was their old headquarters. It had been shuttered, but they're back in the dome monitoring these events. And we get Jack doing a blah, ha, 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 ha. Knock it off, Jack. I hate it when you laugh like that. So next, the JLE versus the Dome in a fight to the finish. Versus the Dome? Well, you'll see in the next issue what happens with the Justice League Europe. So there we are, folks. Justice League America, number 27. Justice League Europe, number 2. Both really well done, beautiful art, and well written. They're really, really firing on all cylinders at this point. Let me know what you think in the comments, if you remember reading these back in the day, or if you have any comments about them or questions. Put it in there. I'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this review, maybe give this a thumbs up. Maybe subscribe to the channel. We do this every Monday. Maybe share with a friend who you think might like it. I would really appreciate that. Helps my little channel to grow. But until next time, God bless everybody. Please be kind to one another. Have a little bit of fun out there. Read some Justice League. And I will see you again, hopefully soon, in Dad's Den of Pop Culture. Bye-bye.